We are live.
Okay, this is the July 28th, 2020 Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. It's coming to order. I'd like to have everybody say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. So we've got, we need a motion to approve the agenda. Could we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye. The motion carries. The agenda is approved. Then we got the approval of the regular meeting of the minutes of February 25th, 2020. Do we have a motion to approve the minutes? Or
I move to admit the meeting minutes from last meeting.
okay. Support?
Support.
Those in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing no opposition, the meeting minutes were approved. Okay, so we're going to get into the actually appeal. We have one appeal today, and we're going to get into that. And I'll read the appeal, and then we'll have the applicants introduce themselves, and then we'll have Brian give us an overview, and then we'll have the applicants come back up and explain to us why we should approve the appeal. So let me read the appeal, and then we'll go to introduce the applicants.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
can I, a short comment? So we have full transparency here. I am a member of the Grocio Yacht Club, which is a neighboring property. I am also a friend and former client of Rick Bowl, who's the architect on this application. If any one of the board members, staff, or the applicant objects to my presence, I will recuse myself.
Okay. Okay, Gary. And I have to say one thing.
Go on.
Hello.
Hello.
Oh, there's Rick. Okay. Can we get back to Gary? Yeah, Rick. I see you. You hear us?
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes. Yes, I can hear you. So
I'm gonna remain muted till it's our turn to present.
okay, thank you. Okay, Gary. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, I don't have no problem with you being being in the decision process. I have no problem with that. Does anybody else have a problem?
Hello.
Hello.
Jim, is
Hello?
that you?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. This is Carnago. I finally had to just get in on my iPhone. I couldn't make the computer work with the directions.
Okay. Can you hear us?
Yeah.
Okay. So we've already gone through the Pledge of Allegiance, and we've gone through the agenda. We approved the agenda, and now we're going to get into the appeal. Okay. So
Okay. Thank you, Jim.
that's where we're at.
So
Okay.
no one
thank you
has
very much.
no one has a problem.
No, so no one has a problem. So okay, you're all set to go, Gary.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay.
Or
So,
Mr. Chairman. Sorry.
Okay, so what we've got is the appeal number 20. Hello, we got 20-003. Mr. and Mrs. David Reese of 29707 East River has requested a public hearing before the Zoning Board of Appeals for a variance to expand a non-conforming structure located at 29707 East River Road, Lot 2, Hickory Island Company subdivision, is recorded in Wayne County Records, Township of Grocio, County of Wayne, Michigan. Okay, with that, we're going to have Brian come on and give us an overview of the appeal, and then we'll get to the applicants. So, Brian, are you there?
I am, Mr. Chair. Thank you very much.
Okay.
I'm going to attempt to share my screen. Can everybody see the standard slide on your screen?
Yeah.
All right.
Let me just make sure I can get it to work now. There we go. Okay, thank you again. So as long as everyone can see the slide, as Chairman noted, the subject site of tonight's case is 29707 East River. The request that's before you is related to the expansion of a non-conforming residence. The property is located on the east side of East River, immediately south of the Groseal Yacht Club. And as noted, the request is for an expansion of a non-conforming structure. In this instance, it is because the existing structure does not meet the 90% rule of the zoning ordinance. And I'll have more on that momentarily. The specific ordinance section up for decision making tonight is related to 18.6, which is within the nonconforming chapter of your zoning ordinance. And as just a bit of background, it is the north side yard setback that is deficient in terms of its current side yard setback. That's what has created the nonconformity in this situation. The slide on your screen now should be that of the site plan. You can see the subject property at the bend of East River Road. As noted, there's an existing residence, which is outlined in blue if you can see it that closely. There is, as I mentioned, a deficiency on the north side setback. It's basically at what I would call a zero lot line setback, though it does note that there's about a 2-inch encroachment at its nearest corner. But that is the reason that we're here this evening, is because of that existing condition on the existing structure. The proposed addition is to the street front side of the property. That is outlined in red. Again, if you can see the detail on the screen, it's outlined in red. I'm trying to run my cursor over it as well. It includes a new front porch entry. It includes a new single car garage, as well as some expanded and modernized sort of living space, if you will, once you get beyond the new covered porch. So that's a look at the site plan. I can go back to that slide at any time if you guys want to look at that again, or I can put it back up on the screen if the petitioner wants to reference it as well. Moving along, these are the proposed building elevation drawings. So the left side of the screen is the street front view. So I mentioned there's a new entryway and new covered porch. That is on the left side if you're looking at it straight on. And then the new single car garage and or storage area is this area here on the right side of the drawing. The upper right corner of the screen is the north side building elevation. So that is looking essentially from left to right, is from waterfront to street front. The left side is the existing residence. That's where the nonconformity exists. And then the right side is the proposed addition. So you can see the side of that new covered porch is within view on that drawing. And then the last one is down on the lower right-hand side. That is the south side elevation view. So again, in this case, waterfront is to the right, street front is to the left. And this is the area of the proposed addition towards the street front portion of the property and the residence itself. Again, I can go back to these slides at any point in time if you have questions or want to talk more detail on them. Just let me know if you do. So with respect to our ordinance sections, as I mentioned at the outset, 18.6 provides regulations for nonconforming structures, and specifically paragraph A of that section allows the expansion of a nonconforming structure when the 3 points of the test are met. And those are the first set of bullet points. So the building can only be nonconforming on one side. The side that is nonconforming has to provide at least 90% of the required setback. And lastly, the expansion that's proposed has to comply with all current dimensional standards. In this case, the existing residence is nonconforming due to its deficient north side yard setback. That's the only deficiency. And the proposed addition does comply with current dimensional standards. However, the issue that we're dealing with here tonight is that, as I mentioned, with that zero lot line established setback to the north side, they don't meet the 90% rule. In the R1F district, we require a 10-foot minimum side yard. And as noted, again, they have roughly 0 to somewhere in the -2-inch category. But for my purposes, I'm going to call it a 0-foot setback for tonight. So the sum total result of that is that the applicant needs 1 variance. That is what is being requested. And that variance is to expand a nonconforming residence that does not fully comply with the standards of 18.6A of the Township Zoning Ordinance. The right side of your screen, you'll find a summary of section 23.5B. That section, or that paragraph in particular, provides the board with the criteria that you are to evaluate the request on, and ultimately that you should be basing your decision or your action on. Should you choose to take action here tonight, it would be either in favor of, based upon demonstration of compliance with, or the alternative would be that it is being rejected because of a lack of compliance with section 23.5B. As you're all aware, you also have the authority to table the request if there's additional information that you feel is pertinent to the case that has not been provided or is not addressed at the meeting this evening. All that being said, I did provide a detailed review letter that is dated March 17th of this year. Obviously, the letter was submitted and we were anticipating a March meeting. And I think, as everybody on the call is aware, all of our lives have greatly changed since March the 17th of this year. So this has been sitting for a little while in anticipation of getting a remote meeting scheduled, which we finally did for tonight. So I want to thank the petitioner for their patience, and as well as the residents who are on the call. Want to thank everybody for participating in this fashion, and of course the board as well for allowing us to attempt to address the case and get the applicant some direction. So that's my sidebar. Now back to my actual points here on the case. So a brief summary of my review letter. Some of this is redundant, but I'd like to condense it and put it nice and concise for everyone to consider at my close. Residents cannot be expanded without at least 1 variance. In this type of situation, you, the board, may view that as being unnecessarily burdensome. In my opinion, I don't see apparent reasonable alternatives that would correct the nonconformity or reduce the extent of the variance sought. Correction of the nonconformity would essentially require demolition of the building. If there were a way to only demolish the northerly 5 feet and retain the rest of it, that would be another option. I don't believe that is reasonable in this instance. And with respect to the variance sought, this is the minimum necessary for the project. So they cannot reduce the extent of the variance beyond what they have. It's just the single variance, and that is basically the minimum that they can ask for. As I noted on the previous slide, the proposed addition does comply with current R1F standards. So there are no issues in terms of the new portion of the structure as it relates to setbacks, either sides or street front, as it relates to spacing between buildings, or as it relates to height. So the area and bulk requirements are all met by the proposed addition. Again, in my opinion, I believe that granting of the variance would allow the owner to do what most other residents in the township can do, and that is to construct a fully dimensionally compliant addition to their residence. Basically, my last couple of points, 6 is just a summary of all of the other standards, and that is we do not believe that the addition or granting of the variance and the addition to follow would have any adverse impacts on neighborhood character, would not create nuisance-like conditions, will not disrupt light and air to neighboring properties, will not increase nor adversely impact traffic, and we don't believe that ultimately it will have an adverse impact on adjacent or surrounding properties. My closing point is not one based on the review standards, but simply an informational piece for the board's consideration. And that is, as I think most of you are aware, given the number of requests we've seen over the years from Hickory Island, they do have a pretty active association. And so when possible, we do like to understand where a petitioner is in the process with the association. Mind you, the township doesn't enforce association rules or bylaws, and the association can't enforce township ordinances. But in this case, this is one where the association has granted their approval for this particular project. That was noted in a letter dated February the 26th, and I believe that was part of your agenda packet as well. So I think you all had a hard copy of that letter, or at least an electronic version of that letter, so you could see that that approval has also been obtained. So that's all I have at this time, Mr. Chair. I'm happy to take any questions from the board, or if you have questions specific to the project architect or the property owners, they are on the call as well.
Okay, does any of the board members have a question for Brian? Okay, Brian, it appears that we have no questions at this time. So I'm going to call up the petitioners. Mr. and Mrs. David Rees, can we get them on?
We can, we're unmuted. I think you have to turn the screen back to us to actually see us, but.
Okay. Dave, you want to come over here? We're here.
Okay, yeah, I see you. And David?
Hi.
You need to probably come into the screen, please.
Okay.
There we go.
Who's gonna speak for the Rees?
We're going to have Rick speak for us.
Okay, and Rick, will you tell us who you are and?
Sure. I'm Rick Bowl. I'm the architect on the project 29725 Bayview, Grosseal, Michigan. And I'm here with Mr. and Mrs. Rees, and the builder, Mr. Grosskloff, is also here.
Okay.
And it's hard to add anything as usual to what Brian actually submits. I think to just kind of recap a little bit, we're seeking a variance, a single variance, to expand a non-conforming structure. The variance that we're seeking, or actually the reason we have to seek it, is that it does not meet all 3 bullet points of Section 18. The proposed addition does meet all the criteria of the R1F district, which is Hickory Island. And as noted, we have had approval of the Hickory Island Company Board of Directors. I guess probably we can entertain any questions that anyone might have.
Yeah, does the board have any questions for Rick? Okay.
Jim?
Yeah.
Jim, the property to the north, is that the yacht club's property or Hickory Island?
That's the yacht club.
Well,
Okay,
actually,
so
if you could put up the site plan again, Brian.
It's not the yacht club.
To the north?
No.
Yeah, if you can see my cursor, this is the lot in question. It's actually lot 2 of the Hickory Island subdivision. The lot immediately to the north, lot 1, belongs to Hickory Island Company.
Oh, okay.
And to the north of that.
Oh, okay. When I was there talking to Mr. Rees, I didn't understand that. Thank you, Ms. Bolt, for clarifying that.
Right.
Okay, so I didn't know that either. So lot 1 is a Hickory Island lot.
That's correct.
Okay, all right. Okay, are there any other questions for Rick?
Yeah. Jim?
Yeah.
Rick, your site plan seems to be deficient. There's no north arrow, there's no date, and there's no indication of who the surveyor was.
Yeah.
More importantly, you're putting a garage in.
Correct.
in this addition. The existing garage is also encroaching.
That's correct.
And what are you doing with that?
The existing garage is to remain.
There's no, you need 2 garages?
Pardon me? We had a,
You've got,
did you say that again? I missed the question.
you feel you need 2 garages for this property, even though one of them's in violation now.
Yeah, the existing garage is at most, well, it's supposed to be a 2-car garage, but it's very small. You can get 1 car in.
Yeah, I've been out there.
Yeah, the attached garage at the house is where they're actually going to park. Do you want to add anything to that?
Gary, are you asking maybe to mitigate the situation where you could get rid of the one?
It seems to me that's something that should be considered by the board. Yes.
Okay. Any other questions?
No.
Okay. With that, I think. Okay, I think unless the Rees has anything else that they want to comment on, then I think what we'll do is we'll see if we got any comments from the audience. We have evidently we have 2 people there.
Actually, I see more than 2, but let me start with Kimberly. It looked like you unmuted, so maybe you are ready to give a comment on this. Or not?
Yeah. Okay. Sorry.
There's also a Kathleen or a Deborah.
Okay, are they going to be online or what?
I mean, I'm going to try to ask them to unmute.
Okay.
Hard to do with this meeting.
Does Kathleen or Deborah have anything to add? I've unmuted both of you.
No, we're okay.
I wonder what the policy is about 2 garages. If the township has a policy. They're separate.
Multiple homes on Hickory, 2 garages, including.
She has a question on the 2 garages?
Yes.
Yeah, she asked if the township has a policy on having 2 garages.
Mr. Chair, the ordinance allows a detached as well as an attached garage structure. There's no prohibition on that.
Right. Okay.
Brian, isn't that a detached structure in the front yard?
It is. That's allowed in Hickory Island.
Okay, thank you.
The issue is the north side setback.
Thank you.
Yep.
In the Hickory Island, they're a special area because they went from a 6-foot side back to a 5-foot, right?
Yeah, if you'll remember a few years back, working basically because the ZBA saw so many variance requests on Hickory Island, a subcommittee of zoning board members, planning commissioners, as well as some residents of Hickory Island, we all worked together and we created it's not new anymore, but I'll still call it new, the new R1F Hickory Island Single Family District. And that did put in place a number of provisions that were more applicable to the development trends and patterns of this particular area. Whereas you don't see 80-foot lots in this area, you don't see 30,000 square foot lots. You see a lot of detached street front garages. You see a lot of setbacks that are less than 6 and 12 on the sides, etc. So yeah, we rewrote those provisions to in an attempt to bring more conformity to this particular neighborhood. But again, in this case, there still are a couple of existing nonconformities. We couldn't eliminate all of them by creating a new ordinance. That would have set the bar far too low. So there still are some that remain, and this is one of them.
Yeah, okay. Are there any other Anybody in attendance that wants to make a Kathleen, are you through? Hello?
Yes.
You have any other questions?
No.
Comments? No?
No more questions.
Okay, thank you. Do we have another attendee that wants to talk? No. Nobody else? Okay, I want to make one comment. I got a call from the neighbor to the south, Ron Konchalski, and he told me that he has no problem with the construction. He reviewed the documents and he said, no problem. So he just let me know because he's not going to be around to comment in person. So he called me. So I just wanted to put that in on the record. Okay, are there any other questions from the board? Hearing no questions from the board, can we get a motion relative to this appeal?
Mr. Chairman, I would move that.
Linda Parker, I think, had a question.
Okay.
You need to unmute yourself, Linda.
Oh, I didn't know I was unmuted. No wonder you weren't hearing me.
Linda, yeah, you're here.
I am here. I just wanted to say that I think the addition is going to certainly enhance the neighborhood to see a cute little addition like that. And then with regard to needing the extra garage, I think a single car garage is probably not sufficient for a car and your lawn equipment and recreational equipment and so on. So I think in that respect, they probably need the extra garage. That's all I wanted to say.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Okay, do we have?
Mr. Chairman, I would like to move that we bring the item to a vote, appeal number 2020-003 for approval.
Okay, we have support?
Support.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing no opposition. Okay, Lori, have you got that put down? Is Lori around?
Mr. Chair, I don't think Lori was able to log in. I've been trying to take notes for her.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Lori didn't make it in, but we are taping it, so she will be able to.
Okay, so we note that that the people that were present all voted for the appeal, and no.
Yes.
Okay, so we're all set there. Okay, so the motion carried. So Mr. and Mrs. Rees, so we approved your appeal. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, may I ask a question about what the next step is?
Next step? For what?
I believe the next step is a letter goes to the building department and the applicant can apply for a building permit at that point?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, so it's approved.
All right. Thank you.
Yeah, Mr. Chair and Rick, just so you know, just since Lori wasn't able to get on the call, I'll call Lori and/or Derek in the morning and let them know the decision that was made here tonight, so that they, when you submit for permits, they'll be ready for you.
All right. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. and Mrs. Rees and Rick. Good job. Okay, the next comment is, we have any comments or miscellaneous to talk about?
Mr. Chairman, I would just like to say to Brian that 7-point sheet he wrote, I was very impressed with that. That was very nice. Easy to read, easy to understand.
Oh, okay.
You want to?
I do my best, Mr. Chair. Thank you, Mr. Carnego.
Thank you, Brian. Okay, I think with that, we can call for a motion to adjourn.
So called.
Support. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Hearing no opposition, motion carries. The meeting is adjourned. Thank you all.
Great. Thank you, everybody. Great job tonight. Just a quick FYI, Lori received a new request, I think today or yesterday. So we will, once I get my hands on it, there's a chance that we'll be having an August meeting as well. I just want to let you know that in advance.